Welcome back to the demonstration session. In the last demo, we prepared OpenAPI specification 2 development plan. How are we going to develop? For that, we fed a good prompt. Take this as a reference and then start implementing on your own. Most of the times we think that when I say microservice or the REST API, just have to accept the HTTP request and respond. No, there are several other things also exist. That's where that particular prompt was highlighting. Course, rate limiting, retry, timeout, circuit breaker, OpenAPI documentation, unit testing, integration testing, authentication, logging, metrics, traces. There are 112 system engineering principles are commonly used. That's where I given the system design concepts. If you could refer them and come up with the proper implementations, not going to be applying all of them, but most of them are used. See, going forward, you shall not be expected to check your authority or the credentials saying that whether you know coding, DSA, okay, do you know how to write a better program? No, you will not be expected. Do you know how to convey the messages of your requirements to the AI model so that in a productive manner we will be able to get the responses in an acceptable manner, enterprise greatness. That's what you will be expected. So the feature exponentiality is going to grow. Previously we used to have 30 features implemented in 8 weeks. In the sense we want to implement the 30 features in 2 days, because we have that many number of developers now. So as I can see that in 2027, organization expectation from your end will be towards this way only. Okay. Now we are ready to take one microservice at a time. Either you can use the same session or a new session. Doesn't really matter. Why? Because OpenAPI specification, implementation plan, LLD, HLD, BRD, all are ready. Tomorrow or most likely day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, Saturday is for the noon one people. Morning people whole day. Sunday we have a session, right? At that point of time, I'll be taking one of the .NET code which I already built some 4 years ago. Professional REST services. So 7 years, 8 years ago we built this. Of course, that time also we followed some good practices, but not to the practices we have been following right now. Now it is a brownfield project now. How do I integrate that as part of my system right now? How do you do the unit testing? How do you do the integration testing, API contract testing? How do I design a UI for this? It's a brownfield project. So we'll take it up and then see how we can bring it up as part of our application development. So we are going to demonstrate both of them. All right. I'll open the identity service, implementation plan, attach it, contract testing, attach it, LLD, attach it, go to the planning mode. Why are we once again going to the planning mode? We already planned, no? like I said, don't immediately go and execute the agentic mode. Why? Because it will start editing. These files are provided by your architecture team to as you as a developer. You are a developer, I given the spec. Now you are going to implement this, depict this. So as a developer, you should also verify saying that how AI is going to implement, because you may use Sonnet model, you may use Opus model, you may use GPT 5.5 model, you may use anything. We strongly recommend to use Claude model, but possible that you may use something else. So ask him, can you analyze and understand implementation plan .md, which has the plan for implementing or building identity service which is required for my platform Nexus HA. We have all details captured in the implementation plan. If you still need some more information, you can refer LLD and contract testing document that have been attached. HLD and BRD are also available at docs folder. Refer them only when it is necessary. Are we good to implement? Now, I'm going to say that. Can you draft a phased implementation strategy on how to build this service? So one thing what we are trying to ask here is that a phased manner. In phase 1, what are you going to do? Phase 2, what are you going to do? Phase 3. Don't try to build it all at a time in one shot. Even though it can do, but that's not a good practice. Why? Because we wanted to check, we wanted to verify each step we carry forward that we are able to achieve or not. Are we good? Okay. See this? It came up with 4 or 5 phases. It is still emitting. It came up with the 9 phases. The number is very random. You cannot predict that it's going to be 8 phases or 5 phases. Or you can also say that within 5 phases you can implement. Sometimes it may so happen that phase 1 may be polluted with more activities. So let it decide. Depends on the complexity of the scenario, let it decide. Plan saved to one file, open in editor. Now under backend identity service, I'm going to create a file called implementation phased implementation plan.md under docs. Keep it, save the prompt file, copy, paste it, plan, nexus, identity service, phased strategy. Preview, open in browser. Phase 0, repository scaffolding. It's going to create a folder. Phase 1, cross-cutting infrastructure such as logging to open telemetry, Serilog, Swashbuckle. Okay. Phase 2, persistence. Phase 3, authentication vertical slice such as how are we going to sign it. Phase 4, admin vertical slice. Phase 5, audit publishing. Phase 6, dev seeding. Phase 7, test suite. Phase 8, containerization and static docs. Phase 9, spec parity and sign off. Okay. Now attach this file, or you can attach the other one also, anything, because anyway it's a copy paste only. Let's implement all phases one by one. I go into the agent mode. I would like to review before we move further, before we proceed further with the next phase. Okay. See, now the development is going to happen. Of course, now you can do with the Visual Studio Code also or Visual Studio also, because implementation plan is ready, DLL, sorry, the LLD, HLD, all are ready. So there won't be any variation. Even if you switch to the Sonnet model also, it will work. Any specific questions? So this is the way my platform has been built. See there, this is my platform. So the complete platform is built with this only. Same thing, we've done it for the App Store also. I'm supposed to go to App Store. It's not opening. See there, same. So the point is that pure agentic coding only with the enterprise capabilities. So this particular project has got close to 40 services, 40 microservices. It took almost 8 months to build it. Okay. So it is coming up with the proper structure. See there, readme.md, source directory, test directory, test projects, Docker ignore, git ignore, change log, readme.md. Now I can open this in our Visual Studio also and start continuing without any problems. So I always prefer to see it like this. If I develop a particular feature or a particular platform or product, I try to make sure that everything is sliced such a way that all can go independently. For that, what am I supposed to be having? From the database perspective, from the features perspective, even if they have the dependencies, how do I make sure that proper contracts are defined? That way, 6 people, 7 people can just like their work. Within few days, you will be able to get the output if they just follow the plan. Now let me launch Visual Studio. Open project or solution. I'm going to go ahead with C S02 end-to-end backend identity service solution. Rebuild the solution. Perfect. Now you can see that how the project structuring has been done. API. Why it's not showing all the files? Shall we go and show all files? Yes. But we do have folders. We do have files at the folder, identity service folder, but that is not shown because I just opened the solution file, which is not including all these other files. Okay. Now in the phase 1, what we have done? Phase 0 completed. It just created the solution project. So how do you verify that? Open the terminal window. You can just go ahead and see that .NET build solution. Then there is an option to test it also. So what kind of test cases it might have written? just to check that whether a health endpoint or ping status, those endpoints only. How do I verify that? Run the .NET application and get this request. There we go. So a very simple project scaffolding. But Ram, we told to is display banner and so. No, they're all coming in appropriate phases. Right. Now ask the questions. What are we going to do in the next phase? If you're not very sure about what to be done, they already laid out the phase 1 scaffolding, cross-cutting infrastructure. But still, if you are not very sure about that, you can just ask saying that what are we going to do? We'll simply say that we are going to do some cross-cutting related activities. Let's implement this now. So here also we can see the same thing what we have been seeing in the Visual Studio Code. For my plan, Opus model is 15 times additionally charged. It will so happen that in your case, it may be your GitHub Enterprises or the teams, it may be charged less, maybe 7 times. Because the adoption of Opus model across the industry, across companies have exponentially grown. That's why GitHub Copilot also increased the price. In my case, why am I using this? Because I still have valid credit in my end. So I'm just using 75%. Another 25% for next 2 days should be good. In your case, stick to Sonnet model 4.7 or 4.6 to implement it. Planning to be done with Opus. Implementation with Sonnet. The cost will be 1x only. See there? 1x. So if you do 20 requests in Sonnet, 15 requests in Sonnet, you can do only one Opus request. It's as good as driving a Benz car in the KR Plum. So now I need to initialize this whole as a repository. HA S02 E2E. Yes, if you hit this GitHub repository, the complete source code will come to you, including the documentation, prompts, everything. This is a public repo. I made it. So complete things by end of the maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, first 2 hours, everything shall be done. So it will be there here only. And I also create one zip file, put them into Google Drive as well. Okay, shall I close this one? I have to create the readme file at the repo level. I will be doing that after the completion of the entire thing. Now see that we have got a few additional endpoints designed. Live, ready, health, metrics, swagger, swagger v1, swagger.json, redoc.index.html, and we do have, this is the RFC, standard based error pumping. So how do we get the proper error structure? So they created one additional endpoint called diagnostics boom. We'll accept it, test it. Now you see that the proper banner is coming up, colorful messages are coming up. Now we can check that whether we're able to reach out to those endpoints or not. Let's take any one of the examples. API v1 dag boom. Now we can see that the error is coming as a 400 error, bad request, synthetic error. There is a trace ID also. How about redoc.html? Now our diagnostics, redoc.html. Right now we do have only one endpoint, which is useful for our checking. All other endpoints for health purposes. Let's see, metrics endpoints are available. These are the Prometheus specific metrics, which basically, so every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the survey Prometheus will come and collect the data. Then it'll try to scrape it, and it will be able to prepare the proper dashboard saying that the service available, not available, this is a problem, and so monitoring and observability purposes. Health anyway we have checked it. Let's check the swagger. Right, now we can see that things are coming up slowly. We will cut this. When you are pressing Control C, it actually should properly graceful shutdown and come out and exit. Throw exception and return should not be there when the user presses Control C. So this is called signal interrupt, signal termination. Those also should be handled very properly. Okay, good. Now is the time for us to go and implement the next phase. Let's implement the next phase. Now I need to provide the local SQL Server credentials so that we will be able to connect to the SQL Server and perform all the SQL operations. So okay. So identity service, SRC, development or production. Now we don't have any details where we can enter the SQL Server credentials. So once it adds, we will provide them. Now from where are we going to get this hotel collector 43717? I'll be starting some containers where it has the ability to extract all the telemetrics. Now it is creating automatically appropriate DB models. Now, if I give you this project, I'll give the complete patient, doctor, ever give you the project. The first day you have taken one use case, right? Appointment scheduling and the pharmacy prescription management related. I already talked to Deep actually. So what I will be telling him the next is that anyway, this is the built project. I will give you only the LLD, nothing more than that. So having this, will you be able to implement the appointment scheduling capabilities or the pharmacy prescription management as part of this implementation? Now it becomes a brownfield project for you, no? I built it in front of you, it's a greenfield. When it comes to you and enhancing it, it's a brownfield project for you. Now how will you be able to enhance it? The thoughts what we are going to be showcasing on Sunday or the tomorrow shall be applicable over there. So that we will prove that we can easily build our application with the help of AI assistance. I'll be showcasing how to deploy this with the containerized package and deploy it to Azure also. So you will get end to end. Now let us understand what it has implemented in the current phase. Phase 2 complete, ready for review. You do .NET build, 0 warning, 0 error. .NET test, 1 test passed. Local tool, .NET EF 10.0 installed. .NET tools are JSON. Migration generated. Smoke test. See health live, health ready, health. All should be returning healthy. The DB contact register cleanly. EF core 10.0 matches with the .NET 10.0. Connection pool retrace enabled. Okay. Awaiting for you to go ahead with the phase 3, which basically adds the vertical slice, token request or response DTUs and so. .NET restore, .NET build, .NET test. We have got only one smoke test, whether it is correct or not, that's it. Nothing more than that. .NET run. There are some errors. So migration failed, continuing the persistent set to false. Was it saying something? .NET EF local tool. So we'll tell him saying that why I'm getting this error, what am I supposed to do? I'll just copy this message. Let's go back. When I run .NET Run project, SRC project, I get the following error. The migration attempt fires persistence auto migrate equal to true development even with the empty connection string. Guard against that. Because we don't have the connection string specified anywhere else. Can you start using the following database details in the application? Localhost, SQL authentication, SA password, all right, good. What is it saying? Please stop it manually. Okay. .NET Restore, build, right. Now we got the results. We just have to check the live status. It's live. It is ready. Live difference, live and ready difference is that the server is alive but may not be able to accept the request because of the dependency service may be available and may not be available. If ready status says okay, dependency is also available. All right, good. Now we have got came to know how to solve a particular problem. Okay. Immediately you should not think about we have to attach the breakpoint and debug F10 step into step over. Those days are gone. We need it only if you want to troubleshoot the core logic for mission critical things. Otherwise you should not do. You don't have to do. Oh, the stack trace is 2 pages. What shall I do? Why are you passing the whole 2 pages document? You only have the particular stack trace information which reflects the error. That may be having internal errors also. Take that and paste it. Then only context window will be optimized. Okay. Let's go ahead and implement the next phase. Ram, looking like this, looking at the way you develop, no, anybody can build, no. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Developers have got the ability to provide more development specific activities during the implementation. As long as non-developers elevate to that level, they will not be able to build still. First of all, they will not have confidence also. That's the biggest thing. That mindset, no. That mindset won't be sync with. Oh, how can I build? So that's where the difference is. Actually, I don't prefer to keep this particular folder and start working towards. Instead, I prefer to create a separate Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, then start working that rather me. So, for example, when it comes to the doctor service or patient service, I'll go to the Visual Studio only, do development. Anyway, we do have a one repo which contains all the services, but independently can be built. So right now we are here. Now we can see that phase 3 is completed with the DTO, repository pattern, services, and we also have got the endpoints created. So what are the endpoints are created? See there, we already have got the health ready, well-known jwks.json bootstrapped, post authentication token. So we do have an Asha Menon and a password. I think I need to check that. What is the password used? JWT decoded, post auth refresh to get the new refresh token, and auth revoke. Wrong password, we are getting the results. Short password, we are getting the some other error messages. It has already done the testing. Keep it. Let's go to the test cases and see whether we have got the test cases to support this or not. We don't see that. We have only the smoke test. Why it is not doing that? Because we told the integration test suite to be done at the end only, at the end of the service implementation only. That's why it is not doing that. It's not doing the generation of those test cases. It's okay. We'll stick to the same. Let's go ahead and implement the next phase. Right. Now we can see that the next phase also completed with admin related checks. So every phase which basically grows slowly to more capabilities. Now more or less we have got all the capabilities. Now we are going to be targeting to focus on to the auditing. For example, when the user logs in, we have to send an audit saying that the user tries to log. When the login logout takes place, or when the login fail, everything is going to be audited. So remember, it is basically trying to do the testing on its own to verify that the endpoints are really working. But we have not told them to create any test cases till we complete the service implementation. So choice is yours. Every phase, how many number of endpoints you created, add the test cases also. You can do that. But right now it is okay. We'll have the test cases generated once we complete the implementation. So let's implement now the next phase. By the way, auditing service still not built, because this is where you're going to do the auditing, but there is a contract for that. So it's just going to create some client application client and then send a message. That's it. So we are not going to be physically seeing the audit logs. So now see there, we told auditing service is not yet built. Automatically it added that one option in the setting saying that audit client option, so dev can run without audit service. Plus add resolution package audit feature later on. So if we just enable it, of course we will try to target to audit service availability. That time we'll throw an exception because we told to audit synchronously. Yeah. So we are seeing live how an application being built with a very professional way, very structured, standard way, with all enterprise capabilities. Right now the application is stable. We are able to complete the next phase. So in the phase 6, so here we are just going to be focusing on to the dev seeding, nothing but we are trying to populate some sample records and then test suite. Now we are going to create the X unit fluent assertions, substitute bogus. So test coverage will be shown here, and phase 8 we will show the containerization. We will be able to bundle them in the form of a container. Phase 9 we will check once again all the specifications are up to the mark, and then yes, it is said that it is going to be completed. Great. Let us implement this now. Let's complete the next phase. Wait a minute. Now, from which phase are we in? Why it says news and support endpoints? Are we going to have the news and support endpoints here in the authentication, identity management service itself? Because that particular phase didn't mention anything about that. See there, it understood something not correct. See, I need to correct my understanding of the identity service scope. It only covers auth and admins. So the remaining work is just a phase 8 for contract testing with the X unit, phase 9 for the containerization Docker. The new support preferences features belong to BFF service instead. So I am refocusing on testing Dockerization. Right, now let us ask some questions. How much test coverage do you want in this phase? Full 18 speed. So all folders from plan 18, validation services, repositories, EF in memory, audit, publisher, problem details, middleware, fakes, target. It's almost going to be 80% test coverage. That is the coverage report will be shown. You can also set the target saying that I want 95% to be covered. Then it will try to create rigorous testing. Code only or just the plumbing. We'll go ahead with the full 18 suite. Add a web application factory based integration smoke test. Plan 18 explicitly defers integration test, but a single end-to-end test, token, create admin, patch 200, catches lot of wiring bugs cheaply. Worth adding now. So the point here is that you said you are going to be creating a user. User is going to authenticate. User is going to be returning the data, profiles, and so. For that, you need some database, no? So should I create something like web application factory? In this, on the fly, it create something like one fake, assuming that SQL server is working like that. So the point here is that should I add web application factory based integration smoke test? Add one happy path. Now the phase 6, 7, 8 have been aligned. Previously it was having some other plan, no news and support. I was still worried about why, from where did you get this? Then automatically adjusted the plan. Why is it showing haiku? There's something fish. I selected the opus model. Somewhere it is showing that it is a haiku. Oh, okay. Co-pilot has been working on. Okay, it is getting tired actually. So continue. Sorry? Sure. Some random data is going to be, and here also refresh token some random. But once the application goes, once the database everything is live, you can remove this faker. This is to prove that your systems are working. You always try to fake it. For example, if I have got this administrator user, how does it look like? Test it. This is valid when when you're in the development. But once the development is completed, you should always be doing the live testing with the database that we have got. So you always have to do that full cycle. Register user comes, register, and then log in, get the token, refresh token, log out. Suppose if the user is entering the wrong password, that's a failure path. User is entering the username as 255 characters, wrong. All the possible cases now can be generated. Right now we are proving that the logic what we have implemented is working by faking it, certain things. If you use other tools, other models like GPT 5.4, 5.3 or 4.1, you will never get the quality content or quality code generation what you have been enjoying right now with the Opus model. Something like look like sometimes unprofessional, so not professional also, like a simple code. You will have an endpoint slash authenticate. They will write the logic to authenticate themselves. They'll write the logic to directly talk to databases. Until unless you explicitly say that I want the repository pattern, I want the fluent, so many things to be conveyed. But the models like Opus and the 5.5, the 5.5 we got right. Yeah, 5.5. These models are very powerful. So I strongly suggest that use Opus for thinking, for execution, for GPT 5.5 or Sonnet model. Gemini 3.1 Pro also can be used. They also close to the up to mark. But when it comes to the front end code, Gemini is really good. So that's it. Other models and all you can try it out. Generate a Hello World program. Generate a Fibonacci series. They'll generate perfectly all right. Now I'm seeing they're consuming the tokens very faster. I was having 75%, right? So consuming faster. Right. So what it has done, it has basically created test package, fluent assertions using N substitute, bogus, EF core in memory, EF core SQLite, ASP.NET Core MVC testing, faker, validation testing, service. So many things assumed and then the things are working. I'm trying to test whether endpoints are working or not. So if I go ahead with the .NET test, so how come it is able to run the services? Because the test environment automatically launches the services with a fake and then continue the testing. So we don't expect that the service to be available. But in the real world, I mean to say once the service is implemented, real testing, service is running, run the test cases. So that's what we will be doing at the end. So this is to prove that your logic is working. So at the end, you will be able to see that the tests are passed. 76 test cases have been written. All are succeeded. But don't just rely upon this like this report. 76 test cases, all are succeeded. So now our code is strong. No, no, no. This is basically you should understand that behind the scenes it has done something like a faking, assuming that backend is working. Now we are testing our identity management services and so. And sometimes you see errors also. See the error. It is expected error. For example, if the auditing service is not available, obviously you should get an error. So error test cases also have been passed. Right. I will be switching to the Sonnet model. On the fly, you can switch. Anyway, if we have the context, agent is taking care of the memory. So you don't have, you don't have to necessarily pass the complete thing to new model when you are switching it. Okay. What is next? Now the utilization is going to be reduced. Now say that we didn't have any problem with regard to the continuation because agent has a complete context. When we are switching the model, so once again we are passing the same thing. Even if we are talking to the opposite model, also you are passing the same thing. Okay. What is next? Docker file, read docly, static docs. Let me check what is the plan in the specifics. Now we can see that our Docker file has been updated. MCR Microsoft.com.NET SDK Alpine. We are going to build the project. We are publishing it. Then once we move to the runtime mode, ASP.NET 10.0 Alpine, and we will be copying the content which we have built it to the target, and we start the service .NET the Nexus Identity API.dll. Very good. Now the last step, let's complete the final phase. Sure. Okay. Sure. So before you conclude the particular service is properly implemented, what you should ask some questions. Um, have you implemented all the features listed as per the plan? We have LLD, we have the plan, have you implemented? You should do like with a new session altogether, not the same session. Because same session has got a complete context. The conversation history is maintained. Should not do that. Open a new session. Then feed. This is the LLD. This is the implementation plan. This is the source code. Have you implemented? Can you check that? Where is the drift? If the drift is just 1 or 2% is okay. But if there is a 25%, 30%, no, there is a huge variation. Number one. Number two, you are telling that you are testing all the endpoints. I understood that. Have you anywhere mocked, faked, stubbed? Right now we'll say yes, sir. Why? Because it has just created the fake, everything fake and then tested. But in the real world, assuming that service is running, test your APIs with the happy path, failure path, edge cases. You're able to understand? That should give you the validation saying that it is working. Number two. Number three, the test execution, no, the coverage report should always be above 85-90%. That means your 90% code has been covered. If it is below 80%, you should get scared because the test cases have not yet generated more. Previously, we had problems writing the test cases because we have to spend good amount of time. During the cab travel also, we write the test cases. Now, we don't have to. We just have to convey the messages. If you use Cloud Cowork, no, you can send a WhatsApp actually to the Cloud saying that can you just generate the test cases? Then just relax for a while. After it will get a ting one message come, test cases are generated. Do you know how to make use of that so that even if you are in the mobile also you can talk to the AI model? So you attach the Cloud with your WhatsApp number. You send the WhatsApp message to the guy. It will automatically listen to. So it is always something like your virtually AI assistant. Definitely your organization will not encourage such a thing and all. But companies like startups, no. They will quickly encourage you to go and make use of them. Now see there, it started creating some containers also, testing or services. Nexus identity service is built. But without SQL Server, how is it working? That's why I told it's a fake. Fake is going on behind the scenes. Now at the workspace level, I'm going to create set of files. Readme.md, license, git ignore. Now this become a proper repository. So every folder that you are publishing in the version control should mainly have something like how we got index.js file and the index.cs file in JavaScript. Likewise, you should have the readme.md. that describes what exactly the folder talk about it. So once we finish off this, we will just update it and then push the source code to the repository. Remember, still it is not yet over. We have to make sure that SQL server is running, our API server is running, our identity service is running. Then our integration test should prove that all endpoints are working. That is a right approach. Anyway, 5 developers, no. 5 developers, 6 developers will do that. So within 2 days, you should be able to see the whole application. Of course, what I generally do is that I open several Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, 5 Visual Studio Code instances, 5 different sessions. But only thing is that the mind swapping should happen. The prompt, what you are giving the identity service is given to the patient services, patient service prompt is given the identity services. You'll be having nearly nice entertainment actually. So otherwise, generally it's a 5 different developers, 5 different people will build it. So no, A is not going to replace you at all. This is my experience. A is not going to replace you. A is going to create more jobs. A is going to replace people who are ultra legends in the laziness. People who don't want to move, no. People who don't want to upgrade, like a government employees only. I come to the office, sit at the see the sky, have 2 coffee to smoke, and then leave office. For them only, A is going to be completely replacing. Otherwise, if you are ready to upgrade, actually, maybe I would say that in the 2027 until your packages will be upgraded better. Because you are going to be implementing 300 features more in the coming days of your HA application, enterprise applications, which you are thought that will be taking 5 years to implement it. Now you will be implementing like another 6 months to 1 year. Your CXOs will be having the strategy, roadmap, what they are going to be doing in another 5 years or 3 years. Now after the AI, their alignment will be furthermore complicated or maybe more features. Everywhere you will have agents built. For that we need you. No, I'm not upgraded. Then let us throw exceptions. So that's the way I see. So now tomorrow morning when you're tomorrow afternoon when you're coming, you would be able to see that some of the services I would have built already, kept it ready. So that you will focus more on to UI development, UI testing, packaging, deployment, Terraform, I mean to say Azure deployment, CI/CD pipelines. Ultimately mobile development happens. Then at last you will see that an existing project, how we are integrating here also. Okay. Right, now it's completed. So how do I see that? Simple. Just say .NET test. So 76 test cases are written and 76 test cases are passed. So if I say Docker, wait a minute, you have to go to the backend identity service. We have Docker file. Okay. So can we ask them to prepare an Docker compose at the backend level? You can simply say that. So can you prepare a Docker compose file at backend folder level, which combines all services, including backend data, including SQL databases, SQL Server databases. Wait a minute. I think I will. It'll take some time to do that. Maybe I will .NET run. So let's go to the SQL Server Management Studio. Connect it. Databases. Is this mine? Hospital management. Tables. No, no, this is not mine. Nexus identity is the mine. We can see that admins. Okay. So now what we have done is that we have built the REST API. We have created the test cases also. But assuming that everything backend, everything is working, assuming that. Now let us ask one simple question that will reveal. During the test process, testing of identity service, have you mocked, faked, or stubbed the backend, the stubbed anything? It will reveal, yes, I did it. Yes, here is a full breakdown. Now it will give you the complete information in there, where and all it does faking. So when you are giving me, when you are handing over me the delivery, no, I will first run through certain things, immediately catch hold of. So this is not proven. You have to go back and do that. So that's where I do it. There's a checklist for that. See this? It's a complete picture. N substitute mocks, interface level mocks, behavior verified. And then bogus fakers, entity builders, no real DB, no randomness surprises. Like a admin faker, a refresh token faker. Most of the activities, what you are supposed to be doing with the database, everything has happened with the in-memory database. When the test runs, everything in memory. So authentication service test, admin repositories, everything is in memory. Wherever we have got a SQL server, replaces the real SQL server. The caveat documented. In memory doesn't populate, byte a row version, so the E tag mismatch is tested. Handwritten fake. Null logger. Web application factory program. Why? Because during the testing, we need the REST API to be up and running. No, it will automatically start the REST service also. That's where you are seeing that when I said .NET test, it was running the test, API as well. But in the real world, API will be running somewhere. You have to ensure that your test cases run. Yeah, so this is what we are supposed to be doing. I would have built the patient service, mocks, the doctor services, and the branch services, everything ready, audit services, everything ready, so that we will focus more on to the further implements. Okay, right. So we need to rectify this. So tomorrow, first thing is that service is running. How do you prove your API's test cases? Integration test suite. Good. So this is the way you should build it.